Hey everyone, Mo here and welcome to my sweet potato pie class. This is going to be a really quick video because this is a very simple dessert. You see here I already have my sweet potatoes already cooked. How I prepared those, I boiled them on stovetop. You can prepare them however you want, whether that's baking them in the oven. I just feel like boiling them in water goes a lot faster. So what I did was just boil them in a pot of water until they were completely tender all the way through. And to check that, you want to just take a fork or a skewer and poke it all the way through the thickest part of the potato. And if that goes through really easily and your potato is tender, then that means it's done. So I allowed them to cool off, but they're still warm, just not too hot to touch, so that I am able to go ahead and skin them as I am doing here. You can double, triple, quadruple this recipe. These two medium-sized potatoes can make about 3 of the regular pie crust, but I love to use deep dish pie crust for my sweet potato pies, so I'm going to get 2 pies out of these 2 potatoes. It's kind of hard because sweet potatoes do come in various shapes and sizes. I don't really have cup measurements because I normally don't measure, but I'm going to give measurements best I can for you guys to complete this recipe. So I'm going to use 2 room temperature eggs. I normally use the same amount of eggs as I use potatoes. So if I had 3 potatoes, I would use 3 eggs. You want a can of sweetened condensed milk and softened butter. Here I have a ½ cup of brown sugar, just light brown sugar, and 1 cup of granulated sugar. And I'm going to just use a hand mixer. I'm just going to go right into those tender potatoes and just beat them. I don't want to beat them fully. I'm not trying to get it smooth or anything. I'm just basically trying to break it down and go through to see if I have any large chunks that may not have cooked all the way, and we seem to be pretty fine. So make sure you guys that your ingredients are room temperature. You don't want to mix room temp ingredients or warm ingredients with cold ingredients. The effect is just kind of weird. So I'm just going to go ahead and add my 2 room temp eggs. I'm going to add my softened 1 stick of butter. And it's going to break down even more because remember, my potatoes are still warm. And I'm just going right in, dumping in all of my ingredients. I have a cup of granulated sugar, but I'm just going to add half of that at a time. And after I mix my mixture, I'm going to go in and test that to see if it's sweet enough. I did end up adding the whole cup of sugar. I did that off camera, so I didn't get it on camera. But just so you guys know, I did use the full 1 cup of sugar and the ½ cup of brown sugar. And then you just want to go right ahead and dump that sweetened condensed milk right on into your mixture. And there was extra left in the can. Always make sure you scrape that. I just didn't do it on camera. Then you want to take your hand mixer. No need to pull out a stand mixer and have to wash all those dishes. Just grab you a bowl, dump in all your ingredients, and go ahead and blend away. And you just want to try to get that as smooth as possible. Because of the potatoes, you are gonna have some lumps in your batter. That is okay. Do not freak out. You don't want to overbeat this and make it just extra. You don't want it to be too liquidy, if that's even the right word, but you guys get the picture. So here, yes, my mixture does look a little thin, but then I come back, I'm gonna taste it. After it sits for a few minutes, I think it's just from the reaction from the sweetened condensed milk. It kind of thickens up or whatever, as you can see here. And that's fine. We have the eggs. That's our binding agent. So even if it does seem watery to you, it's going to come together fine. And you will see that when I'm done with the pie. So I'm just blending, making sure everything is mixed in. And I'm going to go ahead and hand mix because I don't want to beat anymore with my mixer, and put in my spices and my flavoring. So I have nutmeg, I have cinnamon, and I have some vanilla. And here you see me using my fave Mexican, well, one of my fave Mexican vanillas. I love Mexican vanilla. It's really good. And so I just added 2 caps. I didn't measure that. If you need measurements, you can add you a couple of teaspoons. With the nutmeg, You can add about a tablespoon of nutmeg and about 2 tablespoons of cinnamon, 1 for each potato. But I just kind of, like I said, I don't really measure. I've been making this since I was little. My aunt taught me how to make it a long time ago, and she didn't measure. We just go off of look and off of taste. So if you're that kind of baker, then this will definitely be easy for you. But again, like I said, you always want to add a little bit at a time if you're not sure, and you can taste in between and add more. You can never take it away, but you can always add more too. And here I am going in with my cinnamon, and I'm just going to combine all of that here by hand with my rubber spatula, and then we're going to get ready to prepare our pie crust. Now, some people with the pie crust, they do go ahead and pre-bake their pie crust. I don't, because I bake my pies for about 40 to 45 minutes, and I don't like really dark pie crust around the edges, so I don't want to bake it before I actually put in my batter and then rebake the crust again, because it makes it dark. And here all I'm doing is going in with a fork, and I'm just poking holes in the bottom of that so that no air gets trapped under there, and it creates a bubble and pushes my pie up. The best way that I can describe it is if you guys ate fried bologna as a kid, you know, you cut those little slits on the sides and you poke a hole in the middle, because if you don't, that air pocket gets under there and your bologna kind of bubbles up, and so we don't want our pie crust to do that. So here I had my batter just sitting in a container, and I put it in the fridge for a little while. You don't have to do that. You can go right in with it. It's just that I was making a couple of videos, and I went ahead and just put this in a storage container and stored it away until I was ready to finish this video. And so as you can see, the mixture has thickened up a lot, and nothing is fine. It's still gonna bake the same. It's just the butter and everything that is kind of re-solidified from the cold of the refrigerator. So you just want to layer that in your pie shell as even as possible. I wasn't really even with my batter. You'll notice that there was a little less batter in this second crust, but off camera I just went into the first pie and removed some of that batter and added it to this pie shell, and we were all good. So yeah, you just want to fill your pie shell. Make sure your oven is preheated to 350 degrees and top rack. And like I said, you want to bake for 40 to 45 minutes. I'm just trying to scrape that container, no waste, and get as much batter out of there as I can. So you guys, like I said, this is pretty much the end of the video. Thank you guys for participating and taking this class. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or concerns, and if you use this recipe. I'm not sure if you can add pictures to the comments, but if you can, please feel free to do so. And with fall coming up, oh my God, this is like my favorite pie, actually year round, but Thanksgiving is definitely a good excuse, and Christmas, to have sweet potato pie every weekend. And it's such a simple and affordable dessert. And there we go, finished product. Thank you guys again for taking my class, and I will see you in the next one. Enjoy.